raisin, and we flushed it for those reasons. This is a poop song. This is a poop song. I was walking to the mall and I had to make a poop. This is a poop song. This is a poop song. We pooped at the mall today. We pooped at the mall. Little flat.
The living machine.
The living machine is a great research tool.
It's the thing in the environmental studies building that has lots of plants.
And there's a poop campaign every year in which students get some sort of compensation for pooping in the HALC because it will give substance to the bacteria in the living machine.
And how our water is clean and what our standards are. It's just really bad because everyone poops.
They must do some like weird stuff with like CO2 and gases to like prevent emissions.
And makes poop into dirt.
What else?
It's a green thing. It's an overall thing.
Welcome to the living machine. We are in the heart of the beast right now. The living machine is Oberlin College's very own wastewater treatment plant. It doesn't actually treat the waste from the whole college, it just treats the wastewater from the building that we're in, which is the A.J. Lewis Center for Environmental Studies. We basically take the water that comes from the dirty water from the toilets and the sinks, and we run it through a treatment system that is this room and some tanks outside, and at the end we have water that's clean enough that we can run it back through the toilets again. I mean, it's useful because it saves energy and we're not putting any chemicals in the water to treat it. This process is natural. We're not adding chlorine or anything else detrimental. We get our water almost clean enough that we can release it into natural ecosystems, but not quite according to current water laws. We have all of these great plants in the tank. They look nice and make it seem like a jungle in here, which is much nicer than, for example, a sewage treatment plant. But we actually have them because we need their roots. And the root systems on these plants go down like below 3%, like you can see. You can see the tank, but like the height of the tank, it goes down all the way this depth again below the floor. We have several stages of treatment. The first ones are outside underground. Okay, let's go. Come on, camera.
We put the us in trust, baby. Ah, let's go!
So the process starts out here underground in these tanks that we have. And I like to bring people out here the first time they come to the living machine because I think it's important to see what we're starting with. When you're inside the greenhouse, things look pretty gross, but then when you see what we're starting with, I feel like the greenhouse gets much cleaner and more impressive looking. The very first step in the process, which is hard. As you can see, it's disgusting, but it's what makes this whole process work. And when you poop at the poop campaign, it will show up right here.
Hi, I'm Caroline, and here's a model of the living machine. So the way it works, this is in the AJLC. It's in the Environmental Studies building. It's really, really awesome. So how this works is that it's this whole water treatment system, and it's much more sustainable than other practices because we use different things that it is a self-contained water treatment system. So first off, you have this outhouse here, which represents the toilet. So you use the toilet, flush, and then that goes into a tube that connects to the closed anaerobic tanks. So what that does is that there's a system here where it's filtered through the system. So like all the sediments, they fall to the bottom, and through gravity, of course. And so there's cleaner water at the top, and there's a barrier between two sides of the tank, so when the water is up to a level where all of the sediments have fallen to the bottom, it can flow over to the other side, where again all the sediments will fall to the bottom. There's a tube at the top that leads it to the closed container. So that has the same system where the sediments fall to the bottom and the cleaner water flows to the next. So that we have the initial sorts of filtration. So from there it goes to a tube that leads to the three open aerobic tanks. So what they do is that they have a series of plants that, and it goes from one to the other through tubes which flow down through gravity from one to the next. So what these plants do is the roots provide an ecosystem where different types of bacteria and microorganisms can break down the waste into smaller and smaller pieces and turn them into safer, more to clean the water. And so they go down from tank to tank, and it eventually gets to the clarifier, which also filters the down even more. Next we go through the efferent and afferent sumps right there. So it goes from this side to this side, and as it does, it goes through a constructed wetland system. So the water flows down because there's this hill, this kind of like hill that's built in, and then we fill this with gravel, which all these containers with the big plants are in. And so it flows down through this wetland system, and as it goes through, like it's filtered because like a natural wetland will do the same thing. From there, it goes into the efferent holding tank, which just kind of holds the water. It's pretty clean at this point, but it still needs to go through the UV radiation treatment center. So what it does, it goes through the tube and gets there, and the UV radiation messes with the DNA of the bacteria, and so they cannot live anymore. So at this point, after it goes to the UV radiation, the water is completely filtered and clean for use into the toilets. So that goes into the pressurized holding tank, and then is pressurized and leads to the toilet, so it can once again be used, flushed, and go through the system again. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I designed the posters for the Poop campaign for 2012. And this year we decided to focus a little bit more, instead of on poop jokes, on the fact that poop or human waste is actually not waste. It is a valuable resource that can be used in systems such as the Living Machine.
Hi, I'm Miriam. I was the social networking part of the Poop campaign. So I designed our Twitter page, Tumblr page, and I made a Facebook page and an event. And basically the idea behind this was that we wanted to get a lot of students involved, and a lot of students spend a lot of their time on the internet. It would be a cool way to get them interested in the Poop campaign, and also to show them a little bit about why we were doing this. So on the Twitter and the Tumblr, I basically did a lot of linking to interesting articles and even videos like this one of like living machines around the world, and how this is like not just an Oberlin specific thing, but it's happening all over, and how the Poop campaign here relates to things elsewhere. So yeah, and I tried to make them cool. The background is the inside of the Living Machine, so that they would be places where, you know, people would want to go online and learn a little bit more about what we're doing. And there's Sarah's poster. Yeah.
Wobbly wobble, wobble, wobbin'. Air so fat, all these bitches is throbbing. Bad bitches, I'm your leader. Venom by the meter. Somebody point me to the best air reader. Tell them poopy clean, I tell them poopy squeaky. Niggas give me Brian, cause all of them niggas geeky. If he got a Mantango, then I buy him a dashiki. And bust his poopy open in the islands of Waikiki. Kiss my air, cause it's finally famous, and it's finally solved. Yeah, it's finally solved. Stay poppin', Google my air. Only time you on the net is when you Google my air. You fucking little hoe, fucking up my decors. Couldn't get Michael Kors if you was fucking Michael Kors. Big Sean, boy, how big is yo? Give me all your money and give me all your residuals and slap it on my air.
Now make that mother hammer sound like go stupid, go stupid, go stupid, go stupid, white girls,
Keep waving, just wave.
Wave.
fat girls, shake that
Is that good enough? Cool.
Trying to pee everywhere! You're so close! You're so close! You're so close! Spin around the tree!
I think this should go on our gag reel.